Okay, so we'll see what is a DHCP part. Okay, this is for just for a borderline only I written, but we'll see what is DHCP. Anybody tell abbreviation? What is DHCP? Or you forget?
Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol.
Very good. Dynamic host configuration protocol. Okay, so dynamic host configuration protocol. Port number 67, 68. Just I given. I think you will remember. Okay, so that's I given. Okay, so port number 67, 68. So what is 67, what is 68? Client request and server giving IP address. So both are in there. So client side 67, 68. So we can't say client side or server side. So based on who is requesting, like sending, receiving side. Okay, like that. So we'll discuss that point. Okay. So what is DHCP server? It assign IP address to client. Client means which client? DHCP client only. Okay. IP address to DHCP client. Okay, so it will assign the IP address to DHCP client automatically. So automatically we assign IP address to client. So that's it. Okay. Then what is this automatic and manual? So when you say automatic or dynamic, means user no need to assign IP address to their adapter or a PC. So they need to assign a IP address. Automatically we are getting IP from DHCP server. It means get IP from DHCP server. Okay. So what is a manual or static? Static means assign IP address by user or a admin. Okay, user or admin means a person. Okay, a person is assigned. Okay, so this is called a automatic and assign. How do you understand you got IP address from? How do you understand you got IP address from DHCP or you got IP address from manual IP address? So how do we understand is a manual IP address or a DHCP IP address? So go to ncpa.cpl. Okay, so I think our first classes we discussed this one. So this is my Wi-Fi. Okay, so I need a magnifier to show you magnificently. Okay, so if you see details, you can see DHCP enabled S. The first point is if DHCP enabled S means you got IP address from DHCP server, and it is showing some IP address, and also it is showing DHCP server address. Okay, so this is from this IP address, the device or a server which having this one as a their IP address. So that is my DHCP server. Why I am telling like that? Okay, because of this is my DHCP server. Okay, so and also it is showing a default gateway and DNS server also same IP address. How come your default gateway and DHCP and DNS same addresses? Because my router is act like a DHCP server, so my router is giving IP address to me, and also it is act like a default gateway and as well as and DNS server also. Okay, and also I got a few things: lease obtained, and lease expiry also there. If you see this one, it is almost like a 1 day period is there. Like a 15th April, I got IP address. I start my PC at 9 17:33 seconds. Okay, so this is there. That time I got my IP address. So 15th, and it will expire tomorrow 9 17 32 seconds. Okay, meantime it will extend. Okay, so that we will explain later. But you guys see, DHCP enabled means I got IP address from DHCP. This is my IP address. Lease obtained and expiry. How long this IP address is valid? Okay, so that validities I will explain again. Default gateway, and this is my router address by generally. So DHCP server, DHCP server address. This is from where I got IP address. This is the address of that one. Okay, find out which device or which server having this address. So that is our DHCP server. So be careful while it is. This is also one question last time in a mock interview. Hyderabad sir asked one question, that is, from where you got a DHCP. Which one is your DHCP server? He asked very simple question. Which one is? How do you know which one is your DHCP server? Which one is? This is the IP address. Okay, which server or which device is giving IP address? So which, having that IP address, that is DHCP server. Okay, next I'm going to properties. So scroll down and you can see IPv4. You can see IPv4 properties. If you see the first one is selected, if you see the first one is selected, obtain IP address automatically means I said get IP from DHCP server. I said get IP from DHCP server. What is the second one? I will assign IP address manually. I will assign IP address manually. So this is our two things. Because it's my Wi-Fi, I don't want to touch more things. And if you want, I will go through other things. Like here it is. This is my virtual adapter VMnet 2. Okay, see it is get IP from DHCP server, but DHCP enable S means this is DHCP client. First of all, DHCP enable S means you are a DHCP client. Next, it is not showing any DHCP server address here. It means I didn't get IP from DHCP server. First, second one. Okay, third one. And if you see this auto configuration IPv4 means I got a IP address. I got a IP address 169.254. Next, properties. I'm going to properties. IPv4 properties. Okay, so I selected obtain IP address automatically. So get IP from DHCP server. When I select this one, you can see this tab also there. Okay. When I select second one, you can see the tab is gone from here, guys. So how to learn things and how to answer in a certain interviews, like the very senior is asking you a question. So they will ask very small details only, small details. So very basic and very small details. Very senior in a technically very experienced and very senior, technically very senior person will go with the small details, not small questions. It's small details. These small details will fail in interviews. So whatever you do that time, everything you should observe. Every page, every next button, you have to read it. Every option you have to do it. Yeah. Someone came and they're shouting outside. Disturbance. Okay. So what is the second one? Second one is manual configuration. This is automatic. This is manual. So this is DHCP. This is static. Okay. So that's the difference. Even that is also the sometimes people ask, how do you assign IP address to client? How do you know it is from DHCP server? Which one is a DHCP server? So these are very important details. Okay, so I want to assign some IP address like a 10.0.0.10, and I assign and press the tab button. Now automatically subnet mask came. If not came, then you have to assign manually. Default gateway, so asking for what is your router address. I don't have any router for this network connecting, so I'm not giving that one. and DNS server. So in my system, in my network, which is connected to this one, we need a DNS server. We don't have it. So like that, we can able to assign. So I close it, assign manually, but go through this one. So you can see DHCP enabled, no. DHCP enabled, no, means assign IP address manually. It is not automatic IP address or a dynamic IP address. This IP address is what we can say. This IP address is manual IP address or a static IP address. It's a constant IP address which it is won't change automatically. Now that double IP address gone. Okay, so when I open first time, it's showing two IP addresses, right? Now it is showing only one. Okay. So meanwhile, like we seen double IP addresses, right? So it contains two IP addresses. So one is like a 10.0.0.0.10 is showing, and as well as 169. But it should not show. But immediately we open, it take time to solve their own column. Okay, it both showing. One is a 10 dot series, another one is like a this one. Both are showing. Okay, but after again I open, so this one is gone, right? So this is gone directly. Okay, so but in certain cases, usually when you assign IP address manually, okay, in assigning manual IP address, so what will happen? For example, there is a one PC, okay, and here is one other PC. So these PCs, for example, one PC you are assigned with a 10.0.0.10. Okay, you are assigned like this 10.0.10. Just for example, guys. So it's a, but here also you are assigned 10.0.0.10. So what happened? Both are having same IP address. Both are having same IP address. What will happen? Conflict will occur. Conflict will occur. What it is? Conflict. Conflict will occur between these two PCs. Immediately, what happened? It add extra IP address like this. You can see two IP addresses. One is this IP address, another one is this IP address also. Both IP address show in a same screen. So why it is showing like this? Because of the conflict. Why we should not put a same IP address for both the PCs? One second, guys. People are okay. So why we should not keep two IP addresses, two PCs with the same IP addresses? Because conflict will occur. Why conflict will occur? Think like this. Okay. For example, this is my personal example also. Okay. So my roll number in my college is 402. My roll number is 402. I joined in 2005. Okay, 402. So this is they take attendance. I'm a later entry diploma candidate. Okay, okay. So there is a one more guy is there. His name is also 402. Okay, his number is also 400. So names are maybe common, right? So in our currently class also we have a Rohit, two Rohits are there, two Gauravs are there, right? Like Saicharan is the most common name, previous one. Okay, so like Aditya, so almost all every batch one Aditya will be there guarantee. Okay, um, Pawan, the most common names. So the names are almost all Same in one batch. I have a 3 samikshas in one single batch only. Okay, in one batch, uh, his name is Shubham. 3 or 4 Shubhams are there. Shubham Wazir, Shubham Sharma, Shubham something. There are a lot of Shubhams are there in that one single batch only. Okay, so we assign a roll numbers for making uniquely identifying the person or a item or a system like that. Okay, so they put a name like when they take an attendance 04 402 05 402 compulsory. For me, they have to take 05. So what happened in the last semester, almost like a fourth year, so they forget to take attendance like this. So they put a 402. That's it. So if both are present, no problem. If he absent and I am present, he got a present, I got absent. Okay, so usually it is worked reversely. I usually took lot of leaves in that semester, but I got a full attendance because of he attended that one, but he didn't wrote in 2 examinations, internal exam. They put a fine for each exam, 25 rupees for each exam, 50 rupees fine. So I paid 50 rupees. I written all exams. He absent for 2 examinations, and they said you didn't attend 2 examination. You have to pay 50 rupees. Then I don't argue, so I paid 50 rupees directly. Why? Because I got attendance. That is 300 rupees to 1000 rupees fine. Okay, so conflict. Okay, so conflict. So what is this conflict? If both the numbers are same, then obviously conflict will occur. So it will get confused between these species. For example, here is a one system want to send a packet, want to send a communication. So it send a packet to this one or this one. Both are different bases, but both are having same IP address. So I want to send a packet. My destination address is 10.0.0.10, but which one is that exact PC? This one or this one? Confused, right? If both PCs are having a same IP address, conflict will occur. To again, because of that conflict, this IP address will be added as a second IP address. Okay, not to avoid the conflict. Anyway, both won't communicate each other. They won't communicate each other. First of all, second, they can't communicate to anyone. They can't communicate to anyone. Anyone cannot communicate it to these species. Okay, this is called a conflict. Don't think it is a normal class at all, because it's very important to understand DHCP also. I think you got to understand two pieces having a same IP, so they will get a conflict. Okay, next. I assign an IP address, right? So to one PC. For example, if I have a more PCs are there. For example, I have a one PC, I will assign manually, no problem. If I have a more PCs, it's very difficult to assign a IP addresses, right? Administrator burden will increase. Admin has to go to each and every PC. They have to assign a IP address. This is a second one. Admin burden will be increases. In a manual, there is a lot of flaws in that one, so that's flaws only I'm telling. There is a lot of chance of in a manual, there is a lot of flaws are there. So what is that? So possible conflict will occur. So when conflict will occur, so uh, same IP address for 2 or more devices are a PCs. So we call this one as a device, but so 2 or more devices are a PCs. So like PC. Okay, conflict will may occur in a manual. It is a possibility. Next, admin. Okay, so workload increases. Admin workload on admin is high. Okay, so if you have a more PCs or more workload on it, more devices are PCs. Okay, more devices are PCs, then more workload on a admin. Next, change of network. Okay, change of network means I connected my PC in this network today. Tomorrow I went to my office, I connected it. So then it is change of the network. Again, change of IP address need. Again, that is also will, again we have to manually we have to change the IP addresses. Okay, so it is change of IP address also may require, because of I am using a local IP address here, some 10 IP address here, and when I go to my office I may have to use different IP address network, right? So if I go to my hometown, if I go to Hyderabad office, if I go to Noida office, if I go to Bangalore office, so okay, so for example, roaming profile candidates are there, so they will keep on changing from here to there. Even starting of career in Pune in our 70s, I'm also under roaming profile candidate. Means wherever the work is there, you have to go there and work there. Okay, take the classes in that one. But luckily, it is happened only once and twice only. That's it. So we came back. I can go to Hyderabad not for work purpose. It is general purpose. So what happened here? Giving the blank screen. Okay, so here it is. Change of network and change of IP address is required. Next, people who don't know IP address compulsory. Like for example, I'm a technical guy, so I will check what network currently in this one, so I can change my IP address. But for example, if you take a person, non-IT person is there now, technically not one, or maybe kids are there, so they don't know what is this IP address and all. Okay, again, that's for them. It is very burden on a non-IT people. Okay. Next, what is the advantage of automatic or dynamic or DHCP server? What is the advantage of so less workload on admin, if less workload on a admin. Okay, so admin is a person. Okay, so in this situation, admin is a person. So less workload. So what is a less workload? Even if more devices or PCs are connected. Okay? Even if more PCs or devices are connected, so less burden only, means the DHCP server is giving IP address to clients automatically. So that's why admin not no need to go to every PC and assign IP address is not required. But make sure that he has to change the IP address from manual to automatic. Make sure it should be in a automatic mode. Okay, first option. Okay, next one is conflict what occurs or avoided. Okay, so conflict will be avoided, one PC is a static and another PC is a dynamic one. So for example, last time some of your batch or previous batch, I didn't remember, but someone is asked one question. If in case I already assign some IP address to it, okay, already I assign manually I assign some IP address to it. For example, 192.168.0 dot 1 110 as an IP address. But through DHCP also, a PC may get IP address like this. So this is also getting same IP like a 0.110. So what happened? Conflict will occur. This is manual one, means stable one. Compulsory. We can't alter the manual one. So manually we have to change it. Okay, but this is a automatic one. This is automatic one. I have a DHCP server. So this DHCP server given IP address to this one like this. Okay. DHCP server given IP address to like this because of that range and all. So it is given already. Now what happened? Everyone is in network. Conflict will occur. Immediately DHCP understand immediately DHCP understand this conflict. Immediately DHCP understand this conflict. What it will do? To check the conflict. Okay, something is a conflict. This is a same IP address. Immediately we try to change the IP address of this one. So it will assign different IP address because we can't change this IP address. It's a manual IP address, so it is won't change automatically. If you know, you can change it a way different way, but that's a different point. But this one is whenever conflict is occurs automatically it will change the this IP address automatically. So that is the another advantage of using DHCP server. Conflict occurs won't occurs because of DHCP know which IP address is giving to which system. So that is it will listed. One more is there. It is so. For example, this is 111. This is 112 PCA, PCB, PCC, PC D, for example. Okay, so like this, whenever it is assigning an IP address, it will note down. So PCA 110, PCB in DHCP server, it note down PCB 111, PCC 112, and how it will understand the names based on. Of course, there is a one mechanism is there, that is a different one. So net BIOS is there. Okay, so that is net BIOS. Okay, another one is MAC address. Each PC is MAC address wise. PC MAC address, PC IP address, PC name. So it is in the list here. DHCP server maintain a list. In the list, it will maintain what IP address, which MAC address, which IP address, which MAC address, which IP address to which MAC address, or name wise. If you whenever it is understand name, and also it will read the name and put the list. This is the PC and this is IP address. Understand that one because when I go to the next level, like leased, also it will very useful this one. In DHCP server has a list of PCs and their IP address. So whenever already I assigned like I assigned one IP like a PCA 110, PCB 111, PCC 112. Like I assigned already and I note down. It means I don't assign same IP address to other PCs. For example, new PC is connected. New PC is connected. So I will assign maybe 113, but I don't assign 111 or 112 or a 110 or other IP address which is already assigned. I don't assign. Which one is not assigned yet? So I will assign to the new PC. Okay, like this. Okay, so that will be that we mean in that way it will avoid the conflicts and it won't occur. It avoid the conflicts and as well as conflict won't occur in a DHCP manner. Okay. Of course, there is a. I think I've opened a PPT. I didn't open. Okay, so it will avoid the conflicts. Next, the change. Okay, so change of network, maybe change of IP address. So the client get IP address automatically means it meaning is client don't require to understand how IP address we will get it, right? For example, I have a mobile phone. Okay, so when I go to outside, for example, I am going to my office or maybe I go to mm, my Hyderabad office or my sister's home or my parents' home or maybe someone's like a friend's home or anything. They have a Wi-Fi. Once I connected to Wi-Fi, automatically I will get an IP address. Automatically I get a IP address. Okay. So client get IP address automatically. It means client don't need to understand how this is we are can able to connect it. Second, change of the network automatically change the IP address. When you change of network means you go to some place, okay, there is a different network, you are in a different network, automatically IP address changes according to the the current network. So I disconnected from here, I connected to my hometown. So I travel to my hometown and there I connected. For example, I went to airport. Airport don't have internet connection. So free internet connection also I don't remember they are providing or not. For example, in a certain airports, maybe I don't know. So maybe airport launch have a local internet connection. So you can just we can connect your laptop and you can work it. Maybe it is possible. I don't know. But if in case like while you're traveling, also we can connect. Railway stations, you have a Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi for 15 minutes or 20 minutes is there, right? So when you connect it, you will get them different IP address. Okay, maybe you go to friend's home or maybe a different office. When you connect it, automatically you will get a different type of IP address. So based on that network only. So if you change the network means you go to different network, in a different local different LAN networks, their IP address you will get automatically because of they're also maintaining DHCP server. So automatically you will get a IP address from there, maybe through Wi-Fi or maybe local LAN network. So we will get it. Okay, automatically IP address will change. Okay, now this is a PPT. So once again we'll see what is a DHCP. DHCP assign IP address to the client automatically. DHCP reduce the complexity and amount of administrative work. I told workload of admin, but here administrative work by using automatic configuration. Automatic configuration and manual configuration, there is a differences. IP address are supplied automatically, IP address are entered manually. Correct configuration information is ensure IP address can be entered incorrectly. That is one more point I have to add there. So client configuration is updated automatically. Communication and network issues can result. Communication and network issues can result. A common source of network problem is eliminate frequent computer moves, increase the administrative effect. So this is the last point I told in there. So if you change the network, um, automatically you need to assign IP address again to your PC according to that local network, right? So that is problem with the manual configuration, but that will be solved with the DHCP. So in their LAN network, in other LAN network also DHCP server is there, automatically you will get a IP address. So one more point, it is enter correctly. So that is one more point, we will add it to here. So guys, see here it is. I'm assigning an IP addresses, for example. So for one PC, so on PC 192.168.0.111. So second PC 192 dot so 168.0.112. Okay, another PC 190.168 dot so 0.113. Okay, 190.168 178 dot okay 0.114. What happened here? Anything, please, guys, if you understand what is the problem?
Sir, first three PCs are in same network. First two PCs.
Hmm. Here,
Other two PCs are not in same network.
same network. There is a typing mistake, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so when you see where a PCs are not communicated, one is physically they connected or not. Second one is network wise same IP address or not. So okay, but while typing a IP address, we do mistakes. It's a general typing mistakes common, right? So we can't. It's not even a politics also. Now I corrected it, and still it is there is a big volume. So two octets completely different one. So you have to change it. So what happen manually while you are entering, it is a possible that so you will may enter wrong IP address also. You know some people will enter like this also. So they will put a 172 and 168 0.115. So what happened here it is 172. When you come to 172, 172 16 dot 0 dot will come up. So but it is they mix up 192 172. So better it is there is a 16, this is 168. So better we put it like this. So some people do mistake. I seen a lot of people do the mistake like this. 170 190 16. that 0.116. These type of mistakes also I've seen lot of times while student do mistakes that time. So one thing is, so why better, or maybe by typing a mistake. So that's why IP address are be careful, we have to enter it. It is a most possible that there is a typing errors. Entering IP address in a wrongly is also possible. It's okay. Incorrect IP address we can assign to, okay, is possible. Giving a incorrect IP addresses is possible. There is a no chance of incorrect IP address in automatic. So understand the differences. So again, I'm going to think. So if question is like, what is DHCP server? What is DHCP server? Or what is DHCP? So guys, never tell one single word or answer or a single line answer also. Give as much you can able to tell about it. Okay. So first one is starting again. So DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. It assign IP addresses to DHCP client automatically. Okay. So and advantage of DHCP server is less workload or administrative work. Okay, administrative work on a admin will be reduced, or less workload on administrator. You okay? Less administrator conflict will be reduced. If they ask a question from your question, also they will ask a question like this, like from your answer also they will ask questions. What is conflict? That's why I told entire story. Okay, what is a conflict? Like two pieces having same IP address called a conflict. Two or more pieces having a same IP address is called a conflict. So that is like that. And also we can give an example also for explanation. We can give an example. So clear cut, practice the answering. Practice answering, then automatically answer. Like I'm, why? How can I able to tell? Right, because I practice a lot, right? So I given lecture to so many people, so automatically I can able to tell easily. So how can I able to tell easily and a complex way and a confusion way also? Because of practicing. Sometimes I'm in out of mode, like I'm in a, my mind is in different place, like sometimes I can't able to explain properly also. So important thing is practice. 2 3 times how to tell answer in easy manner. Easy manner means with the simple sentences. Don't go with the complex sentences. Don't go with the complex examples also. Simple type. Okay. Like less workload on administrator. So administrator workload will be reduced. Okay. Conflict won't occur, or maybe conflict will be reduced. Client get IP address automatically, so then client no need to worry about what IP addresses they are getting. Change of network, like you are change the place from one line to another line automatically, so the other line IP address automatically you will get it. No change of no chance, right? No chance of incorrect IP addresses, maybe by assigning IP address. Okay, by assigning IP address manually, there is a possible of assigning wrong IP address by typing mistakes or anything by assigning IP address. Now here, so we don't need to, uh, no chance of that one. And user no need to learn about what network, existing network is there. So that IP addresses, DHCP address, DNS addresses. Okay, user no need to learn to assign IP address of IP address, what IP network you are using. Okay, IP network means IP address, that network. Okay, and subnet mask. IP network combination is IP address and IP subnet mask. Okay, so what is a subnet mask? Um, what is a subnet mask? Okay, and DNS. server addresses. Okay, so DHCP server addresses like that. So you don't need to learn all these things. Okay, and one more is there now, that is called default gateway. Okay, so you also no need to learn about what is IP network or IP address, subnet mask, and all kind of stuff. You no need to do all the digging things in a automatic manner. So this is the things. So when question is DHCP, what is DHCP? Dynamic host configuration protocol as an IP address to client automatically, and it is advantage of DHCP server is less workload on administrator. Administrator workload will be reduced. Okay, either way we can tell based on what easy to take. Conflicts will avoided, and the client get IP address automatically. Change of network automatically change of IP address to our device so okay, so no chance of incorrect IP address entering. Okay, um, entering. Okay, user no need to learn IP network or what is subnet mask, what is DHCP server address, what is default gateway address, no need to learn. So this is about first part of DHCP thing. Of course there is so many things are there, so we'll go one by one. So here how DHCP works. Actually there is a beautiful one presentation is there. So like this, it is non DHCP server. This is a static IP address. Okay, this is a static IP address. IP configuration from DHCP server. IP configuration from DHCP server. This is a DHCP server. So what happened? DHCP server give IP to DHCP clients only, not for static IP address. Okay, next. This is actually a very good one. Okay, what I'm going to do is, guys, I will put it in a this slideshow manner. Okay, so you tell me, can you able to see the screen or not? That's important. Guys, can you able to see the screen now? Full screen, like
Yes,
a slide screen.
Yes.
yes,
Okay,
Yes, sir.
now just try to understand, and then next one. Okay, so this is servers. Can you DHCP server 1, DHCP server 2, and there is a DHCP client. Now, how these packets are going on moving the broadcast way? So it will show one by one step. So I'm going to next one step. So first, DHCP server packet. So DHCP client broadcast a DHCP discovery packet. It broadcasts to everyone. If you see, it's sent to DHCP server 1, DHCP server 2, and other some two PCs are there. The DHCP client send a broadcast to everyone. Next. Now, when DHCP servers received a broadcast, when DHCP server received a broadcast like a discovery packet, when it is receive a discover packet, so what it's done, it broadcast DHCP server 1 broadcast DHCP offer packets to everyone. Okay, understand that the DHCP offer is to everyone. Now DHCP client receive that offer and it is broadcast to request to everyone, because DHCP client don't know exactly who is the DHCP server, and DHCP server don't know who is exactly DHCP client. So that's why there are broadcasting. Okay, DHCP client broadcast, so request to everyone. I will explain each and everything again. Okay, so just see the broadcasting messaging. So now DHCP server broadcast acknowledgement packet to everyone. So once the acknowledgement is done, then DHCP client so assigned with the IP address. That's it. This is a lease duration, so we'll go to the lease duration later. Okay, this is part. Okay, now again I will explain same thing. My recording. I will explain the same thing here in only two ways. So I want to avoid the broadcast. Okay, so you understand the broadcast, so then I don't want to use the broadcast again and again, so it will kill the other sentences, that's why. Okay, so this is my DHCP server, and this is a DHCP client. What is DHCP client? It's a PC which is want to get IP from DHCP server, that is called DHCP client, that's it, the first option. Okay, get IP address from automatically. Okay, so that is the so those who are in that one, so DHCP client. DHCP enable S candidates. Okay, DHCP enabled S candidate. Now this is DHCP server. So in DHCP server, there is a pool of IP addresses are there. Okay, so for example, 192.168.0.1012 pool. So 190.168.0.150, for example, just for example. This is a pool of IP addresses in a DHCP server, and my DHCP server address is 192.168.0.254, for example, just for example. Okay, otherwise I will remove these things. Okay, just for an example. Okay, so this is 101 to 150, total 50 IP addresses in a DHCP server only there, and this is a DHCP client. What is the IP address of what is the IP address? What is the IP address of DHCP server? Nothing. No IP address. There is a no IP address. Of course, there is a MAC address, but no IP address. MAC address is common for any PC, right? So MAC address is there. Just for example, for DHCP client, so I put a DC1. Is it giving a confusion? So I'll put a C1. C1 for a MAC address. So there is a big MAC address is there. So I just am adding MAC address C1. What is the IP address? Nothing. No IP address. Now here DHCP server has to send a packet to DHCP server. DHCP client has to send a packet to DHCP server. That packet we call it as a DHCP discover. Okay, the packet name is DHCP discover packet we have to send. To send, to send, right? It is a to send. To send anything from your PC to other PC. If you want to send anything to send, what we require? Source IP address, right? And destination IP address, and of course source MAC address and destination MAC address, right? To send any packet, what we need? Source IP address, destination IP address, source MAC address, and destination MAC address. This is to send a packet, right? So what is the source IP? We don't have any source IP address. First of all, we don't have any source IP address here. So how to send? Right? Any communication required source IP. So what it will do? It take source IP as it put a source IP address as a 0.0.0.0. Next, destination IP. We don't know destination. We don't know destination. If you know destination, then you can able to send to directly to DHCP server, right? We don't know IP address of destination, and we are broadcasting a message to everyone. So what is a universal broadcast? Like in IPv4, this is a broadcast IP address. So 0.0.0 is a source IP address, and this is the destination IP address. So I will reduce little bit. Now it is good. Okay, so this is my destination IP address. Now source MAC address, just for example C1. Destination MAC address, I don't know who is destination, so I'll use FF, 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 like 12 Fs as a destination. MAC address is MAC address of client PC. So this is my packet addressing. Network layer, and which layer it is? Yes. Which layer it is? Network layer. Which layer it is? MAC address layer. OSI layers. Don't wait for others to give answer. You can give answer directly.
So host layer, no?
Huh? This is network layer. Application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer. And this is what is DL?
Data link layer.
Data link layer. Don't get doubt. It is data link layer. Okay, MAC addresses, data link layer, IP address, source IP, destination IP address, network layer. So what is this part? Packet. What is this part? Frame. Packet become frame. Okay. OSI layers, guys. Compulsory. At least one or two questions in OSI layer is there. Either it is all OSI layer, or where is the IP where we can see IP address in which layer? That is network layer. MAC addresses, data link layer. Okay. Outcome of network layer, packet. Okay, so data link layer, MAC address and CRC. So total packet name is frame. Transport layer, after doing all the encapsulation and all kind of stuff, and finally we got it a uh, uh, segment. Okay, so like that. So each and every layer. So always you have to study, guys. You are not, guys are not studying. You have to study port numbers. Network is very important. So if you want to show, if you want me to show all the previous interviews also, I will show you. So networking side, IP addressing, ranges, what is network, devices, topology is not much, but go through the topologies, physical topologies. Okay, devices, topologies, OS layer, TCP IP layer, IP address ranges, subnet mask. Okay, network portion, host portion kind of stuff. Okay, this packet arrangement also better, you can go through once. Okay, devices based on layers, troubleshooting based on layers. So everything we have to go. That's why it took a lot of time to teach that one. Okay, here it is. So first discovery packet. So this is to send, I use this is a IP address. Okay, so that's why, because of I am using a broadcast ID, so it is sent to everyone. First one. Second one, when DHCP server received a packet, it will send a offer. DHCP send a offer. DHCP offer. Server send a offer. DHCP server send offer. DHCP offer. Again, I will change to 20. Okay. DHCP send a offer. So DHCP server tell to the client. Okay. Client, this is I have this IP address available now. Do you want it? Like this. So for example, again here same scenario is there now, like this one. When server receive and server has to send IP address to client, right? So, and it will use this same kind of frame, but it is very big one. Can we reduce it? Yeah, we can reduce it. Okay, right? When it is received and how it is communicated to other things, source IP, destination IP, source MAC address, destination MAC address. Okay, here in this one, for example, this is a C1, right? So I put this one as a D1. Okay, destination MAC address is sorry, DHCP server MAC address is D1. Okay, and this is IP address, this is a MAC address. Now how it is look like, you will see. It took little bit time to understand, but try to understand. Okay, so source IP, DHCP server IP address only. Okay, it is still very big one, so I'll change it to 12. Okay, this is a source IP. Destination IP, what is the destination? We don't know. Destination don't have any IP address, so here I use a broadcast ID for a destination communication. Okay, next, of course there is a MAC address is also there, so don't worry about MAC address. I will put a MAC address little bit side. Okay, so I have to type everything in a single manner. One second, guys. Better you will remove this better. Okay, so here when it is communicating, 14 is better. Okay,
Sir, this process of assigning IP address is known as Dora process.
yes, Dora process. Source at IP address, destination IP address. Yes, so MAC address and destination MAC address. Okay. So if you understand this process, not only for DHCP purpose and other purposes also, you will understand the troubleshooting thing. That's why I'm telling this one. 192.168 uh, server IP 254. Just for example, 254. Okay. Okay, so next one is what is the destination? I don't have any destination here. The client still don't have any IP address. In that cases, I have to do broadcast only. Now it is space. Source MAC address D1. Destination MAC address. I learn because of this packet. I learn destination MAC address, that is C1. So this C1 makes whenever this client receive a packet, whenever client receive a packet from server, so the client understands, okay, this is belongs to me. Client understand this is belongs to me. How? Destination MAC address C1. Okay, now client receive offer. So in a packet, what they will do, in a packet and a server, what it is doing. So I have a 192.168.0. For example, 105 IP address is available. This is IP offer. Okay, this is my IP offer. For understanding only, I'm typing like this. I will remove everything and I will put it again. Okay, so it is asking the client. So I have this IP address available. Do you want it? Like that. Now the client is send a request. Client send a request. Client send a request. DHCP request. Every name start with a DHCP. Again, I have to change the 16, Actually I given there it is a 20. Client again send DHCP offer, right? DHCP request. Okay, so it will send a request. Okay, it will send a request. So yes, I want that. Okay, I want this IP address. Okay, how do it will send? So our client learn MAC address of this one. Okay, uh, again if you want to write, then you can source IP, destination IP addresses wise. Still the source IP is same thing. Okay, source IP is like this only, not having any IP address. Here also source IP like this only, but destination IP will change. And source MAC address is C1, that is not change, but destination MAC address will change. Destination MAC address will be changed. So destination IP, this IP address. Okay, destination IP is 192 168 0.254. It will learn the IP address and source IP not yet configured. It send a request. Okay, DHCP request to the server, and finally DHCP server take the request and assign IP address to client. Assign IP address to client finally. So DHCP, that is called acknowledgement. DHCP acknowledgement with the leave period, IP address, and any other details of IP address like a subnet mask, default gateway, and all other configurations. So finally, DHCP server will client get a configuration. So DHCP client IP address now 168.0.105 and other things will be configured. Okay, this process is called Dora process. This process we call as a Dora process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. When it is come to the Dora process or a DHCP process, the question is, so either they ask a question, like anyone ask question, so like what is the DHCP process or Dora process? Both are same. Both are same. Or the question is how client get an IP address from DHCP server. How client is getting IP address from DHCP server. So here it is. We have to tell like this. What how client get IP from DHCP server. So in that question, or what is DHCP process? What is a Dora process? In any of these three questions, same answer only. Tell like this. Tell like this. What I'm going to tell. So go for that one. So DHCP server use, okay, DHCP use Dora process. DHCP use Dora process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. After that only, if you have a time, means like that, the person is waiting for a continuation, or maybe is asking explain. So you can explain it. Okay, if there is in the question there is an explanation, explain, or in the question, or maybe he is waiting, then we have to continue the story. Don't start the story before you start Dora. Like, so as I said, no, the story I said, the client, what is the client IP address, destination IP address, server IP address, discovery packet broadcast, offer packet broadcast, request broadcast, acknowledgement broadcast. So each every time, no need to explain from starting to ending, in a starting only. Entire story not, don't explain in a starting. Later you can explain based on your communication skills. Okay, the people, some people having a more attractive skills are there, some are not having attractive skills like me. Okay, so not much attractive, right? So slowly I will explain one by one, one by one. So it will take time, right? So it will create a board to your interviewer, or maybe it is not good at a that time. Okay, so what I'm saying it is, if a question what is a DHCP process or a Dora process, or how client get an IP address from DHCP server, how client is getting IP from DHCP server. So in these questions, so you have to tell DHCP use Dora process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Client send a discover packet to server. Server receive a discovery packet and send a offer to client. And server, sorry, client. So the client send a request, DHCP request to server, and DHCP server send a acknowledgement to DHCP client. So like that only, clear, simple and clear. That should be there. This is for our understanding. This is for our understanding. I told these things because there is a different scenarios. It may help you to understand situations also. That's why I told this one. No need to fix up like only this is it belongs to this here only. This entire process is common communication in a network communications. This entire process, this process, source IP address, MAC addresses kind of stuff. Okay, ARP resolutions and other kind of stuff is very useful stuff. That's why I told this story. Okay. Again, what is the Dora process? Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Client discover server. Client discovers. D. Client discover server. Server send a offer. O. Client send a request for IP address. Okay. So DS. Okay. Sorry. Again, we'll go back again. So again, I will repeat the same thing. Okay. Client send a discovery packet to discover server, right? Client send a discovery packet to the server. Server receives and send a offer to client. Server receives, send a offer to right. So this is wrong. Sorry. Server offers IP address to client. Server offers IP address to client. That's the correct statement. Server offers IP address to client. Client requests the DHCP server for a IP address. Okay, it given offer and it is we are accepting the offer and we send a request like yeah, I need this IP address, like that one. Now finally server send a acknowledgement to client. So this is a story. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So totally we call it as a Dora process. Yeah, okay. That's some kind of bird. Okay. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Dora, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay, client discover server. Server offers IP address to the client. Client request DHCP server for IP address. DHCP server send a acknowledgement to the client with the IP address configuration. So finally, DS client get a IP address. So this is the important process. So when it is discovering, the client use port number is 67. When it is server sending to the client, that time server use port number 68. Understand? If in case they ask why two port numbers are there, like when a client send a packet to DHCP server, the client use with a 67 port number. It send a packet with a 67 port number. When DHCP server use 68 port number to send information to client, but when send a packet to client, it use 68 port number. So we can't say 67 is a server port number or 68 is a server port number or a client port number. We can't say like, we should not say like that. But when client sending 67 port number, Then server sending to client, that is 68 port number with 68 port number, request or something data. Okay, so this is Dora process. So this is the part completed. Again, I will explain this one, and I will show you how to install a DHCP server in a